Hello, everybody. It's Kelly Marisha, the Mental Manifester. Wanted to share my download as it's downloading right now. I'm walking outside in nature, one of my favorite places where I can always connect with spirit, and we begin to explore a word, resistance. And spirit started speaking to me that um, resistance is not always a bad thing. Remember, at very minimum, there's a duality to everything. Could be more different layers and facets of things, but at bare minimum, there are two sides to everything. And so, as we have traditionally been taught that resistance, especially in spirituality, can be a undesirable thing, a spirit started to show me how resistance can be worked for the good, for the benefit, especially the resistance of others towards you. Remember that resistance of a thing is admittance of a thing. And the very thing that you typically push the energy on to resist, you can possibly draw more of it to you. You can possibly draw more of what you resist to you. So don't always be worried about people resisting you, resisting knowledge, resisting your being, resisting who you are, because their very resistance is an acknowledgement of you. Their very resistance is an acknowledgement of a level of the truth that they are being pricked with and that they resonate with, that you're speaking or demonstrating or living out. The very resistance is the acknowledgement. But also, their very resistance could bring towards them, could bring into them, could funnel into them the very thing that they're trying to deny or resist that you're speaking or that you're living. So this is a way that you can look at resistance so that you don't see it as a rejection of you. See their resistance as an acknowledgement of you and as an acknowledgement of a bit of truth or something that you are demonstrating and living out that is arresting them and that is causing dissonance inside of them. You cannot reject what does not exist. The word existence within itself means being. And when you add the you are attempting to undo the being of a thing. You are trying to resist and deny the very thing that you are identifying, the very thing that you're acknowledging. But the thing is that you can only resist what seems irresistible to you. You're attracted to it in the first place. You cannot resist something that you didn't want. You cannot resist something that does not look good. You cannot resist something that is not. Do you hear what I'm telling you? The only reason why people resist it is because something about it resonated. It was appealing. Think about when you resist um, love interests or anybody that you're attracted to. You resist them because you know that they do not serve you. They are not beneficial for you. But you can only some we'll use the term. I dislike using the word exes, but let's just say past partnerships. There are some past partnerships you don't have to resist because they are not appealing to you anymore. They do not tempt you. They are not irresistible. They are not unresistible because they don't even pique your interest in that way anymore. And for the sake of this argument, I hope the reason why they don't is because you realize they're non-beneficial and you have healed the very thing inside of you that was attracting them in the first place. And with that healing, the person becomes irresistible. But if you're still resisting a thing, a person, that means that there's something still inside of you that is, and not just you, I want you to use this with other people. There's something inside of them. Anybody that's resisting a thing, the thing that you're resisting was appealing to you. The thing that you're resisting, there was something that you connected with. You might have desired. You want to go further. You want to look further. But you know there's a knowing or a belief inside of you that says, no, I have to resist this. I have to fight against wanting this. I have to fight against accepting this. I have to fight against bringing this in because that's the right thing to do. That is something that your internal knowing does. And sometimes resistance is a pseudo defense mechanism. But again, going back to the full circle of it, your defense mechanism of resistance can sometimes draw the very thing that you are trying to resist because it was already migrating toward you in the first place because you're attracted to it. I'm speaking of truth now. You were already attracted to it. It was already finding its way to you. It came through me, but you're trying to resist the truth. You're not trying to resist me. And so it's very important that you, especially if you're a person that deals with, especially in your solar chakra, that deals with rejection, that deals with value, that deals with, people dismissing you. Especially if you have a sensitivity in that area, it's very important that you realize that they're not resisting you. They're resisting the truth that you're speaking, demonstrating, and living out. And they can only resist what was appealing, what resonated with them, what piqued something inside of them. Because if it did not mean anything to them, if they weren't scared that possibly what you're speaking could have a merit of truth and they could possibly start believing in it and they could possibly turn away from where they currently are. If they weren't afraid of that, they would not resist you so much and they would be able to walk with you hand in hand. Hey, we don't agree, but we can still walk with each other. I am speaking this from a place of truth, coming from a heavily Christian background. I have some friends that we walk hand in hand and we do not worry. We can speak two different languages and know that we end up in a very similar destination. And then there are some people that have flat out cut not me off, but the truth off because I hold that much merit in your life. I have that much influence in your life that you already knew I was coming with a bit of truth. And so it was safer for you to cut me off and my influence than for you to continue to hear the truth from me and actually begin to change. But here's the good part of that. Whether it comes from me or you, the truth will always find them because something inside of them in the first place was yearning for it. I could not have been connected to them in the first place. You could not have been connected to them in the first place if the truth wasn't trying to find them anyway. So whether it comes from you, whether it comes from a Google search, whether it comes from an accidental YouTube video that comes up behind another video, you guys know how that is. The truth will come to them again in another way. And a lot of times, if you have not already experienced it now, the very people that you fell out with because you felt like they rejected you when they were really just resisting the truth will come back to you. They will ask you questions. You may never get the full-blown apology, but take their coming back to you as the quote-unquote apology, because it's very humbling to have to come back to a person, the very person that you might have dismissed, the very person whose feelings you might have hurt, but you know good and well that you can trust them and that they have the truth that you were seeking all along, but maybe they just weren't in the time and the space to receive it. It takes a lot to come back to you, so don't make people beg to come back to you. That's no. That's a no. Just let them come back, especially, again, they may not have just been where they could have been able to receive it, and they know it, and that's why they humbled themselves to come back to you to get the truth. So I hope that all of this makes sense to you. May you go down the rabbit hole of this conversation as I did and continue to do so. I am going to turn back inside of myself and finish my conversation with my oversoul and myself and spirit. I love myself. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.